of them were putting up the lead of this minister and the temple of God.
Give us access to our money within the bank. I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. The content is are proper critical to lead of this minister and development.
Give us access to our money in time.
As always said, there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. The content is are proper critical to lead of this minister and development.
Give us access to our money in time.
As always said, there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. The content is are proper critical to lead of this minister and development.
Give us access to our money in time.
Good morning and welcome to Open Air on Atlantic Television Network. Open Air is a network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Open Air, we'll look at the stories. First, Rivers State will fight attempts to delay workers' salaries, Nigerian Labour Congress says. And then on to Anambra State. Government disowns local government chairman arrested for $3.3 million fraud in US. And then on Edo State, Obaseki laments that he was not invited to Obebelo's inauguration. And then on to Ogun local government poll. Oxiec set to use alternate IDs for lost PVCs. And on Ondo Duba, APC groups mobilize support for SDP candidate. On Kebbi State, PDP condemns bandits' attack on Mera community. On Kano State, governor plans cabinet reshuffle. And then Kwakwanso visits OT in Abia State. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. The content is are proper critical to lead of this minister and development.
Give us access to our money in time.
As always said, there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
from the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. What propagandists are proper difficult to believe of this minister and the capital.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. I've always said there are two sets of people: the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. The propagandists are corporate critical elite of this minister and the
Give us access to our money, we pay in charge.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Air this morning is Ugochukwu Ifeanyichukwu, a political analyst. Good morning, Ugochukwu, and welcome.
Good morning, Laurentia. Good morning, Rivers people and Nigerians. And for want of time, I just want to make my feelings so open to Nigerians and the authorities that have been saddled with the responsibility of dishing out the lifestyle leadership to Nigerians, making our lives comfortable, because the mandate of any government is the security, welfare of the people. Then I want to ask this penitent question: what is happening in Nigeria is becoming an embarrassment as regards to the constant collapse of national grid. And I also want to make a case for media stations across the nation, and also people that are running medium-scale industries. The whole gains and whatever they are doing is just for national patriotism, because there is no gain, there is no profit whatsoever. And these are the chunk of people that employ majority of Nigerians. I want to ask the government if they want this country to collapse economically totally. Because if there is no public power supply in Nigeria, have the government wondered how these institutions are functioning? Especially where I'm sitting in River State and on ATM, they run on diesel. The whole penny they make is turned into the national coffers again, because this is a chain reaction. You make some money, you go back and give it to the same country that ought to have protected you. There is no subvention for them. There is nowhere they will go and seek for loan, and they get it seamlessly. The government is not even, prioritizing giving them subventions and factoring them into, this building of economic viability that the Bola Mohamed Tinubu administration is talking about. So if they are not getting these monies, who are getting these monies? Who are those that are getting these monies that are flying left, right, and center in order to build an economically viable Nigeria? This is a question I want to ask, because it is pitiable. It is a far cry that a nation like Nigeria, at the jet age or the Gen Z age, is still talking about a political power supply, Laurentia.
Right. And on to the story. Joe Ajaero, president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, has criticized the court order stopping the disbursement of financial allocations to Rivers State. Ajaero spoke on Friday at a meeting with NLC members in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. Ajaero said workers in Rivers State must receive their salaries promptly, adding that the organized labor will oppose any delay. He said, Rivers is among the states where workers collect their salaries as and when due. Anything that will make their salaries delayed for a day, we will all jointly fight it. We have heard the cry of our state council on this issue, and as a responsible organization, we will stand with them. Recall that in December 2023, Fubara presented an 800 billion naira budget estimate to the Edisinehie faction of the House of Assembly. The presentation of the budget, titled Budget of Renewed Hope, Consolidation and Continuity, took place at the Government House. In July, the Rivers House of Assembly and Mehule, the Speaker, instituted a suit marked FHC/ABJ/CS/984/24 against the CBN and 9 others, asking the court to stop the CBN, commercial banks, and the Attorney General of the Federation from honoring any financial instruction from Governor Fubara. In October, a federal high court in Abuja restrained the Central Bank of Nigeria from further releasing financial allocations to the Rivers State government. The court held that monies from the Federation account should not be released to the state pending the passage of a Lawful Appropriation Act by a validly constituted House of Assembly. Justice Joyce Abdul Malik, the presiding judge, issued the verdict following a suit filed by the Rivers State House of Assembly led by Martins Amehule. Abdul Malik held that Similaye Fubara, governor of Rivers State, was wrong to have presented the state's 2024 appropriation bill to a four-member assembly that was not properly constituted. Fubara has since appealed the court judgment. Ugochukwu, what do you make of the story?
I want to thank ATN, the ATN newsroom, for a detailed analysis of this of the impasse which Ajero is meddling into or reacting to. I think I want to say that Ajero, as the president of NLC, I don't know if he's a lawyer too, but NLC as an organized professional body in Nigeria should have their legal team. If Ajero is not properly schooled of what he's meddling into in Rivers State, he should understand that there is a progression. There is a place that this particular issue that is now talking about the stoppage of allocation to the Rivers State government is coming from. It is not a case that started from nowhere. So Ajero should not farm the embers of sentiment and bias. Ajero should not constitute himself as the law or the constitution of the country. If he's not properly briefed, he should go and get all the litigations and all the court judgments that have been turned out as regards to this appropriation bill presentation in Rivers State. If he does that, Ajero will come to the conclusion that even coming openly to speak about it is shooting himself on the foot. Ajero has lost his voice. I don't know any of the negotiations or any of the welfare package Ajero has presented on behalf of the Nigerian Labour Congress that have seen the light of the day. Ajero has been known for someone who is always found wanting when you needed him most. And the humiliation he suffered in Imo State helped in really making him a toothless bulldog. And Ajero, as far as I'm concerned, have not been able to be that, galvanizing and that pragmatic leader that NLC in Nigeria, with the current economic situation we have and with the current political climate we have in Nigeria, that can, make a meaningful input in the lives of an average Nigerian worker, nay, Nigerian citizens as a whole. So Ajero should just not embarrass himself further, because for anybody to talk about the impasse in Rivers State, I want to advise that the person should be properly schooled. The person should understand the tenets, should understand the root cause of the problem, and for the learned courts and judges to be, to have made pronouncements. And let me also inform Ajero and Nigerians listening that these cases go from the lower court to the senior courts. And assuming, not considering that people have been accusing, there will be counter-accusations of buying over of judges and all that. If that happens within the lower courts, what about in the appeal courts? Those learned justices that sit and vote, because it is not only turning out that particular litigation, there will be a vote to now get the superior argument or the superior voice that will now be the written judgment. as it stands in Rivers State. I'm talking about when those cases get to the appeal court and the three-man panel will sit, there's always a vote to either agree or not. So when he talk about delaying of the salaries of workers in Rivers State, has he also asked himself where all those things are coming from? The Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration and the Nigerian Justice Minister in the person of Fabemi, they are not being intimidated. I like their disposition as this case in Rivers State is going on. Has Ajero also gone to INEC to ask where INEC has stayed aloof? INEC as an institution who even all these litigations concerning the Rivers State House Assembly is under their purview, have stayed neutral and they are following the lines and the letters of the law. So Ajero, I want to advise NLC, both in Rivers State and in National, to maintain the posture that INEC has assumed. To maintain the posture that the Ahmed Bola Tinubu, after the first intervention he made and it failed, has assumed. To maintain the posture of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice in Nigeria has taken, so that let the litigations go through the whole hog, and after that, the final judgment will be the pace setter. And lest I forget, Ajero should also know that the laws do not look at faces. There was last month, around ending of October, before the last judgment that restrained CBN from releasing funds to Rivers State government. You know that there was a sinister motive and notion from one militant group in Rivers State that called themselves the Niger Delta Development whatever, that threatened the existentiality of Nigeria, that threatened the economic strength of Nigeria, that if any court in Nigeria restrains the FARC allocation from coming to Rivers State, and also if any court restrains CBN from releasing funds to Rivers State, that they are going to bob oil installations. It was laughable. After that particular threat, the next 2 days, the court in the Federal High Court in Abuja gave out their judgment. Until date, nothing has happened. So Ajero should not allow himself to be ridiculed, should not allow himself to be, to be partisan in this particular case, because any form of intimidation, which is what I'm seeing now, that the Rivers State government is now using those institutions of national interest, those CSOs, pressure groups, and NGOs to intimidate the Nigerian judges, to preempt the outcome of the judgment from the Supreme Court, which should not happen. And I thank God for the person of Ahmed Bola Tinubu. I thank God for the person of Fabemi, because the judges have stood firm. Those who have delivered judgment have stood firm, and they are looking at it from the letters of the law and the Constitution.
Right, fine.
So, Laurentia, if the Nigerian courts allow themselves to be intimidated in trying to assuage the rightful letters of the Constitution, it will not augur well for the Nigerian state. Right. But I want Ajero to understand that the law courts are independent, the Nigerian judiciary are independent, and we have one of the best brains when it comes to to turning out those statements and law court orders in Nigeria. Let them allow this to go through the whole hog, and whoever wins at the end of the day takes preeminence.
Now, Gochugu, quick question. One would say that the NLC is saddled with the responsibility of workers' welfare.
Yes.
And the concern of the NLC in this instance is the welfare of the workers. Right. Now, this impasse between the executive and the legislature in Rivers State, at the end of the day, you know, it appears that the workers in Rivers State, what one will call collateral damage, it's going to suffer collateral damage in this whole thing. Now, NLC, saddled with the responsibility of protecting the workers, has come out to say that if this entire crisis should affect Rivers State workers by one day, we will not stand for it. We will fight it. Now, the question would be, what exactly will NLC be fighting? First question, because you were speaking from the angle of, you are decrying Ajero's stand in this whole thing. But then one would say that Ajero has the locus to have a say in this, because this has to do with workers' welfare. And he is the national president of NLC. That's on one hand. Number two, looking at Ajero's statement that he will fight any attempts to delay workers' salary by one day. The question will be, who will Ajero fight? The government in this instance, or the Rivers State governor?
You have really preempted me, Laurentia. Ajero should channel his fight or his bullets to the governor of Rivers State.
Why
in the person of
so?
Simlaye Fubara. Because Simlaye Fubara, if he is not being schooled properly about the presentation of what the Constitution says about the sitting and what forms a quorum in the state legislature, maybe Ajero should also help him, you know, because this issue about appropriation is a very fundamental issue, in the sense that an appropriation presentation or the lifetime of an appropriation goes to, you know, take care of the yearly activities in the governmental circle, which is where the workers in Rivers State come in. So who is to be blamed in this case when a governor has not done the right thing? How was the ministries and their expenditures? Who has approved it? Who saw what was budgeted, what was estimated, and who sat? Where are the committees in the House of Assembly that sat and look at the presentation being made by those ministries that Ajero is now talking about? So if from that Benicio, the due process have not been followed, it's not channeling it to the law court or to the judges. Ajero should be the person who should be talking to the governor that you did not do the needful. Because having failed to plan, you have planned to fail. Having failed to follow the due process in talking to the commissioners and the PAMSECs, and they make their budget plans and present it for the governor to now take it to the House of Assembly for appraisal, then how is the salary of the Rivers State workers being captured? Ajero should be asking the governor, where are you drawing the money to pay the workers in Rivers State? Hence, you have not done the proper thing that the Constitution and the law says. So the governor of Rivers State and the Rivers State government are the people that have flagrantly disobeyed the Constitution and the laid-down tenets of the running of the affairs of a government. A government that has 3 tiers. A government that have parastatals and ministries under their purview. So where have you drawn the money to be paying them? Is it from your personal pocket? Is it that you have become a Father Christmas? Is it that all those monies that you are turning out? Remember, lest I forget, when the local governments in Rivers State were shut down, the governor said that they can operate from anywhere and their salaries are no problem. He was paying them from his pocket, and he has their paying bank statements. So how did those people receive their own money? If Ajero should have been pleading that what will be happening is that the statutory allocations that are meant for the payment of salaries in Rivers State, let the body that is assigned to disburse the FAC look at it and get the monies that are credible to the
to the River State workers, whether it's 1 billion, whether it's 6 billion, and then pay directly to them, but stifle the River State government of their own funds. That is the only plea that will make sense to me if Ajero have told that line. That is the only plea that a responsible leader will be pleading. A mother, if there is a fight in a family and the father goes agog, he say, hey, starve me of fun, but look at your children. That is a responsible mother who is pleading, and when somebody, a third party, hears it, the person will be touched to talk to the father and, hey, look, this woman, yes, you people are having issue, but what about the children? So that if the children, the father will say, okay, even we hear in cases of divorce, the court will say the responsibility lies, the onus lies on the father to take of money you will give for the welfare of your children monthly. So if Achero has come through that way, then I will say there is a sense to what he's saying, which will say, okay, the federal government has a mother, temper justice with mercy. These people have been caught on the crossfire. They are the workers in River State, because if there is an incident, a shootout between the Nigerian security agencies and the hoodlums, and anybody that dies within, that is caught within that time, he said that the person is caught on the crossfire. In this instance, Ajero and the NLC leadership and those ones in River State should be begging Ajero and liaising with him to speak to the conscience of the President and Minister of Finance and the Attorney General of the Federation. Look at what is going on in River State. Our children and our families are involved. How do we remove them from this mix? You look at how much is their salary within the month. How can we get it out and make sure that those people do not suffer for what they don't know? Because what is going on in River State is a political fight. Right. Those who are discharging their duties, because you owe workers who have discharged their duty diligently to pay them at the end of the month, because they deserve their wages. Right. So when this is done, I will say that yes, Ajero is towing the line of a father. But from his statement, his floating has become biased, has become sentimental, which the Nigerian Constitution does not recognize, because the woman that is holding the knife and the weighing balance is not seeing anybody. Right. At the end of the day, if Ajero and the River State NLC chapter do not do the needful in trying to bring out the workers in River State, they will suffer the same fate. Because you remember when the allocations of Lagos State local government were seized, these were the crux of the matter. Okay. So when you are saying that you should temper justice with mercy, you have to bring out what that mercy will be looking at.
All right. If I knew you've said a lot of things, but if I may pick out some of the things you said. One, you accused the River State governor of hiding behind CSOs and pressure groups like NLC and
some militant groups.
Yes. Who want to preempt the outcome of the judgment.
And the pressure the judges.
The judges. That's on one hand.
Yes.
Now, secondly, you also said that Ajero should have been making a case to the federal government for the welfare of workers that are under his purview, from the angle of how do we remove workers from this entire political saga.
Yes.
How do we do it, and workers will not be on the receiving end of this. So you were of the opinion that Ajero should have been, imploring the federal government and the Minister of Finance
and the Minister of the Attorney General.
Okay, to pay workers directly.
Yes.
And probably still go ahead with whatever it is that is going on in River State, and but workers
should not be caught in the crossfire.
Directly, they should not be caught in the crossfire.
Yes.
That way, one could say that Ajero is being a father to the workers and not taking part in politics. So you are accusing Ajero of being political by his statement. You're accusing him of taking sides.
He has already taken sides.
NLC,
which he represents,
with the government of River State, and then on the other hand, preempting the outcome of the Supreme Court. If I got you right.
Of course, yes, you're right.
Now, going by the way this whole thing is going, There are different litigations in court, and then also moving forward, everybody is awaiting the Supreme Court judgment, and it appears that the fate of either of these state actors right now
is hanging in the balance,
and is predicated their survival or or they are not surviving is predicated on the Supreme Court judgment. And having seen the role that NLC is playing right now, according to you, you have accused NLC of politicking, you know, meddling in River State's politics. And how do you see this playing out? If this judgment is given, and at the end of the month, at the end of the day, first of all, this Supreme Court Attorney General of the Federation, the Minister of Finance, if at the end of the day they go ahead to withhold these allocations, that's on one hand. However, the governor also said that payment of salaries, that this court judgment will not stop payment of salaries. Very important point. He said it will not stop the payment of salaries.
He did it during the blockage of the local government.
But he said, after this court judgment
said it,
that it will not affect payment of salaries. The internally generated revenue in River State should be able to carry salaries, worker salaries.
No, the internally generated revenue have been mortgaged.
Hold on. So I don't lose my train of thought.
Okay.
Now, when you look at these things critically, and NLC has come out to say that if any attempt to delay worker salary by 1 month, by a day, they will come out to fight. Won't this preempt the governor to now say, okay, come up with reasons why worker salaries cannot be paid, and then, you know, definitely knowing that NLC would want to fight, probably call a strike, and then how do you see this playing out? Because, I mean, this is throwing crumbs, and it's like a bait, if I would say that.
Yes.
That statement is like a bait that the governor can build upon and then refuse to pay salaries, knowing that NLC will come out to fight.
Let me start from the end, the which I envisage. A government is a continuum, and this political impasse and the litigations at the law courts is not meant to, is not targeted at anyone. It is not meant to subjugate or stifle the River State workers or the citizens of River State.
Right.
Rather, what the litigants, both the governor's camp and the Martin Samuel camp are doing is let the truth be led bare. Let us know who is right or wrong. Let us know the true path we have to follow according to the Nigerian constitution and the tenets of the law. So neither of the parties are wrong in either challenging for or against. This is where I want it to. So it is not a case that at the end of the day, either side that won is the River State people that have won. Because it's the River State people that have won. Because when the River State people, when those litigations are led bare, it's a win-win situation for both sides. Everybody will now know their left and their right. So I want to make that clear. So it is not the governor is crying as if somebody want to stifle him, or somebody is now using him to now deny the Rivers people what is due to them. That is a no. Martin Samehule is not going there to say that he is right, but let the right thing, according to the letters of the law, be done. So in either way that you see it, it is a win-win situation for both Rivers people and the Rivers workers. Right. Again, on the question you asked, an NLC president, you forgot to mention that as my bullet point, that Ajiero should go and get all these litigations and school himself and know where he will speak.
Right.
And know where the letters of the law, who has not followed the constitutional laid down tenets, for him to now know where to lay his blame. Then when you're talking about the River State workers not to be paid, if the River State workers are not paid,
it will be a momentary time, because this case has also gone to the Supreme Court. It will not be more than 2 months. We will see to it. And if the Supreme Court says that the appropriation bill should be presented, it's still a win-win situation for the Rivers people. If they say that the one that have been presented is Uhuru, it is still a win-win situation for Rivers people. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. So the Supreme Court will not say, when the appropriation bill is not presented, there is no more administrative or financial lifetime that will take place in Rivers State. If they say the one that the governor presented to Edison here, before 4 House members of Assembly, is the rightful position of the law, then who loses and who wins? The people, the Rivers people that have been paid will not be asked to refund the money. Even if the Martin Samehule group takes the day, they will not record those 8 months that the Rivers workers have been paid. It's still a win-win situation. But let us know the true nature of what the Constitution is saying. Then when you talk about the governor paying with IGR, or the statement he made 2 Sundays ago, that immediately after the court judgment. See, he made that statement because he just want to play to the gallery, because he knew that before that court judgment comes, the FAC allocation distribution for October or November has been done. He was just playing to the gallery. Let them not be deceived. If they are going ahead with that particular, the implementation will start from this November, and you will hear the cry. But you're talking about IGR. The IGR, the governor has mortgaged it in the Transcribary Road, because you saw it is 250 something billion, and the governor said it that he has already mortgaged that road and those bridges with the IGR. So the IGR is not, the governor cannot find money from the IGR to go and pay workers. So the governor is shooting himself on the foot, and let him know that all those things he's playing to the gallery is an impeachable offense. And the governor, as I have said, my final submission is this: let the governor Fubara and his handlers continue to tie themselves with the rope that they might not be able to lose, Laurentia.
All right. Moving on, outgoing governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, has lamented that he has not been invited to the inauguration of his successor, Monday Obeblo. Obaseki said his government has not been consulted in the preparations for Obeblo's inauguration, scheduled for Tuesday. Obaseki made the remark in Benin during the inauguration of Caretaker Committee for the state chapter of the People's Democratic Party. Meanwhile, Obaseki says that there will be a problem if the incoming government of Senator Monday Obeblo of the All Progressive Congress prioritizes politics over security, noting that the citizens will demand a secure environment. He added that in the last 8 years, his administration has prioritized security and invested hugely in the state security architecture, transforming Edo into one of Nigeria's safest states to live in and do business. The governor assured PDP members that he would remain close to the party after his exit from office and be readily available to offer advice and support as necessary. He alleged that the party had embarked on a frivolous spending spree even before taking over power, describing it as a sign of things to come under the incoming government of the state. However, reacting to the governor's allegation, the APC said it was an indictment on the outgoing administration that it failed to organize an inauguration ceremony. The party also dismissed Obaseki's claim that it had already dipped its hand in the almost 27 billion naira the governor set aside for the payment of ongoing projects. Edo State has been a theater of the absurd with allegations and counter-allegations from the elections down to the inauguration.
Yes.
Now, Obaseki has come out to decried the fact that he was not invited, and also in the same breath made some serious allegations against the incoming Monday Okpebholo OPC government. What do you have to say to this development?
You know, I'm always interested in any stories turning out from Edo State, because Edo State, they are matured in their approach. They don't do this politics of physical do or die, but the political rhetorics and the blame game is always interesting in Edo State. With what has happened in the joint inaugurational committee,
the
transitional committee, I don't think that Obaseki should be so surprised in what is going on. And if he's invited or not, is he not the person that is going to do the handover ceremony? So does he need any invitation, if I may ask? Is he expecting them to give invitation for the party after the inauguration ceremony? Because he will be there to do he is even the person in the eye of the storm. Because if he's not there that day, it will be that he has committed a war. And EFCC will be looking for him. And you know, this is also a trap for him, which I've advised him to print his branded T-shirt and put his mat at the boot of the convoy that will take him to the inauguration ground, because he might be picked at the gate at the end of the day, so that he will now remove his suit and his tie and remove his long sleeve and say that, EFCC, I'm ready already, you don't need to make noise. So, and seeing that the incoming government is already dipping their hands is an allegation, because they don't have access to the state funds already. They don't even have, unless they are making projections with that money already saved in the project that is ongoing by his administration, and those monies he has earmarked to pay for those projects. The APC government is already having, because you know, during the electionary campaign, the governor and the incoming governor and his camp have also mentioned the projects they are going to embark on, all to the benefit of Edo people. So what Obaseki is alluding now is that they might not be ready to continue the projects he's leaving behind. But to tell me that they have started dipping hand into that particular 27 billion is a no-no for me, because
he alleged that they took 5 billion naira from that money to plan the inauguration ceremony for Okpebholo.
Yes, if they have those committees they set up for this, and there is the committee, the inauguration is a state affair, and the APC should be in the driving seat. And if they have made their projections and it is 5 billion, he should release it to them. So if he has any problem, he should also write to EFCC to investigate that particular expenditure in commiseration with what will be on ground on that very day. You understand? He has no need to come and make a public show of it. To me, if he's a government that thrives on due process and on managing the funds for the people which he is holding in trust, and such a huge amount of money is being pushed for an inauguration, he should wait and see. You heard what I said when the governor of Rivers State, Simon Fobola, was saying that 119 billion or what will be used for the construction of the Rivers State House of Assembly. I told you that Tony Okocha should wait when the thing starts. He should take his own surveyors and his own architect, go there and take an estimate of what is being put on ground, and he can know whether it is commensurate with the amount the governor is projecting. As simple as that.
Right.
If those things are not going to happen on air, they will happen on the said day of the inauguration, and people have their eyes to see whether the things that are done is up to 5 billion. So for what he's saying about inauguration and invitation and all that, you know, Obaseki is always playing to the gallery. And again, I want to say something on what he is assuring the PDP. And I ask, what impact has the coming of Obaseki into PDP in the last 4 years brought to PDP? Has he been a vocal voice? Has he been an enforcer? And has he been a unifier
in PDP? Has he been a mobilizer? Has he been a financier? So what is he assuring PDP? Just like you saw after the people that cried for Nyesom Wike to be picked as the running mate Atiku. Today, I am beginning to see a sense to why they voted for Atiku to pick Nyesom Wike. After the election, have you heard the voice of Ifeanyi Okowa, who is my namesake? Until EFCC allegedly arrested him and all that. This is the only time you have heard about somebody that ran under a platform of PDP, a mega party in Nigeria, as no less a position that a vice president. He has no official handle. He doesn't make any statement concerning what Nigerians are going through. But you have seen Obi and Obi that going hand in hand, checkmating and trying to criticize and critique whatever Bola Tinubu administration is doing. But immediately after that loss of election, he disappeared to the thin air. He went into the oblivion. He went into Ifeanyi Okowa disappeared from the Nigerian political scene. And today, I'm assuring you that immediately Obaseki, if he was able to escape the arrest on that particular day, Obaseki will cease to be a voice in the Nigerian political space. Choma, I want you to really hold me onto this, and you will see that here will be another Ifeanyi Okowa in the political space, like Nama Desambo.
All right, you have made your political prophecy.
Again.
That's a prophecy, right?
Again.
Or prediction. Which one do we call it?
Political prophecy.
It's a prophecy. All right, I will hold you to your. I should hold you to your word.
Yes, hold me to my words.
All right, moving on to Anambra State. Anambra State government has washed its hands off the case of the newly elected chairman of Obaru local government area, Franklin Nwadialo, arrested in Texas, United States, for allegedly running a $3.3 million romance scam. The state government said it cannot speak for him as he is not a government appointee. The government yesterday declared that it is left to the people who elected him to answer for him, adding that the development is part of the local government autonomy. The Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Dr. Law Mefo, disclosed this while speaking with the press on the arrest of the embattled local government chair. Mefo said Nwadialo is not answerable to the governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, in any form or manner because he was elected by his people and not the government. In his words, he was chosen by his people and the political party he belongs to. He is not an appointee of Soludo, therefore I cannot speak for his conduct. Those who elected him should answer such questions, whether the offense is true or not, because I only speak for the state government and not local government. Autonomy has now come. Nwadialo was reportedly arrested in Texas, United States, for allegedly running a $3.3 million romance scam. The U.S. Department of Justice confirmed his arrest in a statement. It noted that Nwadialo is facing a 14-count charge and risks a 20-year sentence if found guilty. The Federal Bureau of Investigation had arrested the 40-year-old local government chairman on arrival in Texas. He has been transferred to the Western District of Washington for arraignment. According to the indictment, Nwadialo used various versions of the name Giovanni when he met his victims online on websites such as Match, Zusk, and Christian Cafe, the statement reads. Nwadialo allegedly used false images for his profile and typically told the victims that he was in the military and deployed overseas so he could not meet the victims in person. Using these personas, Nwadialo allegedly invented many reasons he needed the victims to send him money. In one such case, in 2020, he indicated he had been fined by the military for revealing his location to the victim. He asked the victim to help him pay the sum of $150,000 fine. In all, that victim was defrauded of at least $2.4 million. The U.S. Department of Justice cited another instance where the accused contacted a second victim in 2019 to help move funds from U.S. accounts to accounts controlled by him and his co-schemers. In this instance, Wadialo represented that he needed the help moving money in connection with his father's death. The victim transferred at least $330,000 to the accounts controlled by the defendant, the department said. The third victim was defrauded by Wadialo when he told her he was investing money for her. He claimed that a check she received from another victim was proceeds from her investments, and he had her reinvest the money in a specific cryptocurrency account that he controlled. The victim transferred at least $270,000 at Wadialo's direction. Finally, in August 2020, Wadialo defrauded another victim who he met online on an online dating site and caused this victim to transfer at least $310,000 by claiming he needed financial assistance, including help paying for his father's funeral or his son's school tuition. What do you make of this development?
I really want to thank you for your art of craft, because it is not easy to run through the length of this kind of story. That is apt of you. It is very apt, and it is the Nigerian people call it grace that can only be from the divine. So as you were going through it, I was taking the breath for you. It is something that it is a shame. This is a show of shame. But I want to thank also the U.S. for being so comprehensive in the analysis and in documentation. That's what we talk about, database. This whatever you have seen here is like the documentation of God, which they ask us to create in our mind, how God takes a record of our sins. So this shows you that if the human can monitor somebody and be able to, despite the whole names, the whole differences in names, they were able to trace it to one individual. It will show you that if the little brain of human that developed those technologies, I wouldn't have any doubt that God will have a more record than the US. So, and it is also a shame that people will go into fraud thinking they have let loose. I don't know whether Obialo suddenly developed a partial amnesia to think that he seems he will not find him out. Maybe because whether he Wadialo, yes, Wadialo, the chairman, the chairman-elect in, or the substantive chairman of a local government in Obaru local government in Anambra State. You know, this quest for power and intimidation, and have arrived, and nobody, I'm above the law, like the House of a representative member that assaulted the driver was saying that I will deal with you, nothing will happen. Even mentioning the name of the IGP, telling you that when people acquire power, they tend to ridicule the rest of humanity. They tend to become the law themselves. But in those, in those same climes, it does not happen. The laws are allowed to take their effect. I hope Joajero is listening to what is happening. So
what has Joajero got to do with
that is why that's why I asked him before he meddled into the affairs of Rivers State. He should have taken time to know what brought the issue to where he just jumped in. Because from what you have, from the statement you have seen, there is a blow-to-blow account of what this man has done. So what is happening in Rivers State about maybe the workers' salary may be monumentally in shortcoming is because there also has been a progression. That is why I mentioned Ajero. So in this case now, you find out that the real records has been taken, and those records are in tandem with the crimes this particular Wadialo has committed. And again, you tie it down to the litigation that has incarcerated the former Deputy Senate President, Ike Kuremadu.
if it were to be in Nigeria, one Diallo would have not been arrested as a chairman of a local government because he had the wherewithal, he had the clout.
But he doesn't have immunity.
And he doesn't have immunity. Maybe he thought in his mind that having been elected the chairman of a local government in Nigeria will now be a trampoline or an envelope to envelope his crimes. His sins have been washed away, and in his mind he was forming a boss of somebody that your position you have acquired will be able to whittle down the weight of the crime you have committed. He did not ask himself, what is the fate of Ike Ekweremadu of today? So let it be a pointer to Nigerians and to those who go into crime that one day you have your day with the law courts, and the crime you commit will find you out. And again, Laurentia, this goes to show that the case that Atiku Abubakar pursued against Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when the Supreme Court judgment of the outcome of the election was going about the certificate saga, might not be far from the truth. If these people have a documentation of this less a personality, just an online dating, then you're talking about a crime that was committed in that particular soil. And the person, if they can tie with the names we had here in different accounts, if they can tie it to one person, there is also a sense that that particular allegedly forgery incident could be tied to the person of the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, because that is why the Department of that secretariat in the USA have not been able to release that particular white paper. Because you cannot tell me that they were able to do a kangaroo investigation and tie it, and they were mentioning the person of Abel with the passport and everything on it. So, but maybe the clout, and he's also been politically exposed in the international community, must have helped in, keeping his sin secret, which this particular person did not have. I'm making a sense. So, this is what you will hear. Then I want to quickly give you an analogy with myself of what I see in conclusion, just in 1 minute. When I was in Malaysia studying information technology at Lincoln Wayne University, in Lincoln Wayne University of Technology in Malaysia, where I met some of our brothers who are into this internet romance and all that. What has found Diallo out is because any fraud of this nature it has a chain community. The people that will do what they ought to do. Even sometimes another person will make the call, somebody who has the rhetorics and the intonation to convince their so-called victim. Sometimes documents are prepared. I'm talking about what I know. Do you know why I did not even help any of them? Because most of them are secondary school and primary school dropouts. So when such a cases come, they'll be looking for us in the university for we to help them in making those contacts. So that when the person hears our voice, he thinks he's talking to a very robust and intelligent personality. So, Laurentia, what happens is this. When they came to me, Ifeanyi Uchukwu Gochukwu, when they came to me, I refused. Because the people that will fish you out are those people who did not succeed in that particular venture. When you are succeeding, remember that the Igbo people say that you're being crowned a prince. Somebody is already envious of you. When you succeed, because you that has the business have the larger chunk amount of the money, and those other people might have not been as successful as you are in the same venture, they will be the people to point at you tomorrow.
Whistleblowing.
Yes, whistleblowing. And even
somebody.
I'm coming. I've not even finished. You will see where it's coming, where his problem is coming from.
Okay.
When you have risen to a particular status in the society, or you have gotten substantial amount of money and you want to go home and contest for a chieftaincy title or being a royal father of your house, of your community, it is still the same people that you were in the same line of business with that didn't that will come and accuse you and bring out factual evidence against you. That he's a thief, he's a fraudster, he has even married an Oyibo woman. And the people in the village and your community, they know that you married an Oyibo woman and you have children in overseas. It is also the same people that are there that will give out the information that will nail your coffin. That is what I'm seeing that Obialo, he says Obialo Nwadialo has suffered. He has risen to this stadium in his political career. Whom do you think that are those that push him down? It is a food for thought for people who are going into crime, and when you're making litany of friends and think that all of them love you, all of them that are calling you a boy, they are not calling you a boy because they love you. They are also the people that will pull you down tomorrow. And that is the story of Ekwemado. That is the story of Ahmed Bola Tinubu. That is the story of Nwadialo, Laurentia.
All right. Moving on, Chairman of the Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission, Babatunde Osibodu, has clarified that using alternative identification cards such as driver's license, international passport, as well as government-issued staff identification cards would not aid multiple voting in the local government elections. Osibodu stated this during a media engagement with newsmen at the Commission's headquarters in Abeokuta on Friday. He explained that this alternative means of identity would only serve as verification and identification tools for individuals who have lost or misplaced their permanent voters' cards, but had their names published on the Independent National Electoral Commission Voters Register. The OCSEC chairman stressed that accepting was to prevent people from giving excuses and encourage them to exercise their civic responsibility. Osibodu said, the primary purpose of PVC is for verification and identification of voters through the BVAS machine, ensuring details on the card and picture tallies with information on the INEC voters register. Meanwhile, he reiterated the Commission's commitment towards conducting a free, fair, and credible and transparent elections, saying OCSEC cannot determine the outcome of the elections, but can only count votes and announce results. He disclosed that the electoral umpire had embarked on extensive training for electoral and returning officers, while presiding officers, poll clerks, and poll orderlies would be trained this weekend at various designated centers in preparation for the polls. Osibodu, however, urged political parties to campaign vigorously while appealing to individuals who might want to disrupt the electoral process to desist from such, as security agencies will be on ground to ensure a conducive atmosphere for people to exercise their civic rights. Ugochukwu, Ogun State's Electoral Commission is set to use alternate ID cards for people who lost their PVCs. I want to hear your take on this statement or this move by OCSEC.
We don't need to dwell more on it because the Constitution has empowered the state House of Assemblies to make laws on how their states are to be governed, even how the elections are to be conducted via different sects. So if he's speaking from the side of authority, gotten from the State House of Assembly, I have no qualms because Ogun State House of Assembly, I have no qualms about it because they are the people who will make laws on how the election should be run. It's the local elections, and then another question is: have they provided the machines and the verification methods and modules to verify those particular, like the OCSEC chairman rightly said, that beavers are the beavers are to authenticate the voter's card. So have they made any provision for the machine that will authenticate the alternate voting identity that those people will be coming out with? So if they have not, that means they are running contrary to the Electoral Act, because there must be a way of verification. It's not that that is why even when my name is on the voter's card, the beavers will authenticate if I'm the person, and also there will be
also a thumbprinting for it to identify if I'm the person. So if they don't have this, they are running contrary to the, and there is also, they are making a room for the election to be flawed. But you ask me if it is well within their right to, state whatever modus they want to go for the accreditation and whatever system they want to take in conducting their own, even they want to take option A4, it is allowed. So whatever, but let it be that there is also a law backing it from the State House of Assembly, so that those who will be losing out, or the opposition parties, will not have how they are going to go to the law, capitalize on that to quash the outcome of the election, so that all their efforts will be an effort in futility. Laurentia.
All right, we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue. Do not go away.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. The propagandists are proper critical lead of this minister and the
Give us access to our money. I've always said there are two types of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. The propagandists are proper critical lead of this minister and the
Give us access to our money. I've always said there are two types of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place
I've always said there are two types of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. The propagandists are proper critical lead of this minister and the
Give us access to our money. I've always said there are two types of people, the oppressors.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State on Friday disclosed that plans to drop members of his cabinet rated below performance of statutory shadows had been taken. Governor Yusuf confirmed the receipt of the report of the Committee on Performance of Members of the Cabinet. He disclosed that the public will soon hear the government's next line of action. The governor spoke on the planned cabinet reshuffle while addressing press at the government house on Wednesday. He explained that the report would not be useful because his association with them in the last 1.5 years allowed him to know their capabilities. Therefore, he would take the final decision on them. He revealed that none of the present commissioners lobbied for the position, stressing that before their appointment, he considered experience, credibility, and advice consultation. The Kano governor said, "What I expected from the commissioners is obedience to my humble self, to the NNPP, and to the Kwakwansia movement. In addition, dedication to duty and to come up with good initiatives for the development of the state." Ugochukwu, what do you make of these statements? The Kano State governor is saying that he doesn't need the committee's reports.
And
while shuffling his cabinet.
You know, why I'm laughing and I'm really excited about this particular statement is this. You don't know what is on my mind. Lonesha, you don't know what is on my mind.
What is on your mind?
When I was reading it, my mind quickly ran to the Bola Ahmed Tinubu cabinet reshuffle that put people on edge, that caused people high blood pressure, that caused the nation to stand still, that caused for slow motion and the stagnation of governance in Nigeria for almost 2 months. Some people went to hospital to check their BP when Bola Tinubu jetted out for a 2-week holiday. Some people consulted imams. When I'm saying some people, I'm meaning the ministerial appointees and their cronies and their family members, those who feed from their juicy positions, if I may say so. They consulted pastors and imams and probably traditional worshippers to pray that the minds of Ahmed Bola Tinubu may be changed towards them. Some may have even fasted and prayed on their own to make sure that they are not removed from their source of livelihood, so to say. And that is why when I read this particular statement, I said perhaps Governor Abba Yusuf is really taunting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for setting up a committee, for taking a whole lot of excuses and a whole lot of rhetorics that are necessary before you make a cabinet reshuffle. Somebody that reports to you, somebody that your chief of staff gets correspondence with, you move out and you hear Nigerians and you know the sectors that Nigerians are flooding to complain. You know the sectors that are not viable. Even his own sector, the sector that is under his purview, apart from his title as a CFO in Nigeria, the ministerial portfolio of the petroleum minister in Nigeria is a far cry of being, a success in Nigeria. He did not say anything about it. So the Mele Kyari, that is the Director General of NNPCL, is performing below par. He did not say anything about it. And why would somebody use a microscopic object to look at the watch you are wearing on your wrist? The electionary campaign and the financing to get to the position where you are. We agree you have compensated them for 1 year. You were here when I also told him that in appointing your ministers, go for credible. I don't want to talk about technocrats because technocrats like Soludo have disappointed some of us. Appoint those that will deliver on the job, those you can look eyeball to eyeball and question them on their credibility and what they are doing. If you are an executive or a CEO of a company and you now employ somebody that is your employee, you cannot look the person eyeball to eyeball. That when you're looking at the person as CEO, the person is bending down like this, it is finished. You cannot get the commensurate output of what you want. If Bola Tinubu, those he has appointed are those that he's in the same political climate with, that they drink tea together, and you cannot question them. You cannot say you are not doing well. You cannot say do it like this because you are mortgaging them for
electioneering purpose.
Are you aware that we're discussing Kano?
Yes, I know. The Kano State I'm talking about is because the governor of Kano State has now looked them eyeball to eyeball. He has told you nobody lobbied him. Maybe he has compensated them because they played one role or the other. Or maybe some of the people in Kano State that made his coming to power a reality. The time for compensation is gone. It is time for governance. And maybe probably those people are the people they cannot take orders from him because they believe they have Godfather somewhere. Today, he has come to stop his authority and say that you did not lobby for it, even if you are lobbied. That is where that consultation came in. It is because of your Godfather must have said one thing or the other. Political Godfather in that case.
Right.
And today, he's coming to assert his authority that he don't need a report. And even the citizens of Kano State can attest to the viability of different ministries and sectors. So that is where I am standing. I'm standing with him. I know he's trying to turn to the president because they are not of the same party to share. I'm showing you the way an NPC knows how to... NMPP knows how to kick people out. An NPC don't need... An MPP don't need a report to know the person you have been working for with 1 year, as the case may be, Laurentia. So I give him thumbs up, and I think it is a lesson for our political leaders like Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the time of Muhammadu Buhari gone.
All right. Former governor of Kano State and former presidential candidate of New Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has visited the governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, in his country home, Mvosi, Isialangwa South local government area. The visit, which took place on Saturday, was to console him on the death of former governor of Abia State, Ogbonnaya Onu. Kwakwanso, who arrived at Abia State with some of his close associates, was received by Governor Oti, even as the visit coincided with the reception held for 15 indigenes of Abia State, who recently graduated from the 6th regular course of Nigeria Police Academy, KANU, and now commissioned into the Nigeria Police Force. While advising the new graduates, the former Kano State governor urged them to uphold professionalism in the discharge of their duties and to maintain the fear of God. In his own address, Governor Alex Oti congratulated the new graduates from the Nigeria Police Academy on their achievements and urged them to remain good ambassadors of Abia State and to avoid unprofessional conduct. He also thanked Kwakwanso for the visit, describing him as a patriotic Nigerian. No further details of the Kwakwanso visit had been made public by the Abia State government as of the time of this report. What do you make of this visit? Physical visit to console Oti on the death of a past governor.
And he's an indigene of Ebonyi State, so to say. I mean the Wenayono.
Yes. Now, when you look at this, would you say this is... Well, let me not preempt anything. What is your take on this?
That's why I'm really laughing aloud, because these are all political realignment and movements tending towards 2027. So they are building bridges and cementing alliances. So OT and OB has become the ego brides. I know that since after the appeal court affirmed the authenticity of the chairmanship of Abure, Labour Party has gone into comatose. Labour Party as a political party has gone into comatose. We do not hear a lot of statements occurring from the table or desk of Labour Party. Those who were hitherto viable speakers for Labour Party has gone dumb. So this resonates our when I say our political pundits in Nigeria, resonates our thinking that there will be a very heavy tsunami in terms of political alignment and realignment in Nigeria that will really unsettle the APC as a political party. You could also recall that one of the big shots in PDP
in the person of Lamide Sule Lamido was saying that even all the prominent people in any APC, they are the products of PDP. So you now say what will prompt an Kwankwaso, who is even a heavy political bigweight in Nigeria, who is a mobilizer, a grassroots mobilizer, and somebody who is people-oriented like Oti. Because you could also see both of them in the same pedestal, because Oti, from the time he was contesting from Abga till this time, has been a crowd puller, has been a grassroots man, that people, you know, selflessly follow him, irrespective of his political lineage. So, and also, Kwankwaso is also a mobilizer that went through the tutelage of Alhaji, his political godfather, who is late now. I think I remember the name, the political godfather of Kano State, who he went under his tutelage. And today, he's coming to tell us that the reason for his visit is to commiserate with Oti, who, for over the death of the former governor of... let him also visit Buhari to commiserate him on the death of Ogbonnayonu, who served as the Minister of Science under the Buhari's administration. And also let him also visit Ganduje and commiserate with him that a candidate of APT in the last concluded, an aspirant, presidential aspirant of APC in the last concluded general elections also died. That is when it begins to make sense to us. But from the visit he has gone to Abia State, we see it as a political reawakening, realignment, and a big statement that will be made in 2025, 2026 going forward. Because if you also juxtapose this with what happened with the elections, the local government elections in Abia State, where what played out in Rivers State is what played out. ZLLP, that Hideto has no bearing in the Nigerian political space. Aside Dan Wanyanwu, the Zenith Labour Party has no affinity, has no name at all. But because of the charismatic leadership and the oratory and the personality of Dan Wanyanwu, in the he's coming from the people like Adam Soshomole, Ugochi, and those who led formidable, what do you call it, who are into activism. That is what has kept Dan Wanyanwu flowing. So hence he can, LSOT and Labour Party can find solace in him to run under his party. It has given Kwankwaso a sense to what is playing now, that Obi and LSOT are looking for a viable platform, which an MPC can provide there. An MPP can be a veritable tool for them to, because look at what look at the performance of Labour Party in the last general election, and look at the 1 million plus votes lying fallow in Kano State.
So you're now
it
saying,
could make a lot of
in that sense that and Kwakwanso might be wanting to make an in-route.
He has seen a loophole
into Southeast.
Yes, he has seen a loophole.
He wants to make that in-route through Abia State, by extension the Abia State Governor Alex Oti, seeing that Alex Oti right now is at variance with Julius Abure,
yeah, of course,
especially with what has happened
in their local government election.
The stakeholder enlarged the meeting that ousted Abure and brought out Nenadi Osman,
yes,
and then subsequent Abure's reinstatement by court, and then they also don't forget the arrest of the Southeast vice chairman
that they came for a meeting in Omaha,
and the governor said he was not aware.
You are apt.
So a lot of things are happening. It appears that the Labour Party National has its eyes set on Abia State. And what is the guarantee that Alex Oti will get tickets? in the forthcoming elections.
With Abure on
as the
seats.
national chairman, seeing that he was the person
the arrowhead.
Yes,
that ousted him.
to oust him in the first instance.
Yes.
So all the things
A lot of
that could advise why Alex Oti, his people, one would say, because he said that the people are in the aftermath of that local government election.
Yes.
He came out to comment and said that yes, that Labour Party lost out because they didn't field candidates.
Yes.
However, that people voted for the right people.
They were the right people.
So that underlines who are the right people.
The right people
when they are not on your platform.
Are the people that the governor spoke on behalf of.
So now you're saying when you marry all these developments, that could advise Kwakwanso's VSET to Alex Oti. That could be a political move. It has a political undertone.
Of course.
And Kwakwanso is trying to make inroads into Southeast through Alex Oti.
And I want to give it to Kwakwanso for being apt and being a visionary political character. Because it is only a few that can see this loophole. Because there is already a crack in Labour Party. And Labour Party, Oti and Obi seems to be interwoven, intertwined in their marriage. And they have all the big wigs behind them. I see it's getting Oti.
You could get
Obi
Osman, you can get Obi, you can get Dati and all
to
that.
have seen means to have seen the Father, according to our Lord Jesus Christ. So that is what is playing out, because it is an interesting political climate. And for Obi, all the insinuations we have been hearing about Obi, and that even Kwankwaso conceding that he will not mind being a deputy.
No, I was actually coming to that.
Yes.
Probably the only way that can fly it.
Yes,
is the running. It's actually the flag bearer and Kwakwanso
is a running mate. So we are interesting political climate that are coming 2025, 2026.